will see that several times.
A plus.
By humans and CGI created characters.
S plus actually. My bad. I wasn't familiar with your game, Sonic. Do I have Disney Plus? Wait, is it? Did Abbott Elementary put out a new episode?
Which one?
Abbott Elementary.
Supposedly they did. You can do that Hulu or
Yeah, hold on, just ask the bundle. I don't have Disney Plus on my PC. I gotta turn my PlayStation. So Knuckles, it is. I will catch you guys later.
Please. Okay. All right, Ed. Do I have your Street Fighter?
Yeah, I added you. Let me update.
Oh, I heard him say Knuckles. I don't know what that was in reference to.
There's a Knuckles show on Paramount.
Okay, that's right. I was gonna say, in the grand scheme of things, Keanu Reeves as Shadow, Jim Carrey as Eggman, Idris Elba as Knuckles. That's low key crazy.
I think Sonic.
This isn't bad. I just didn't see this coming.
Street Fighter 6 was the move.
Oh snap, bro heard it. Well, we're about to learn you some Street Fighter. Good. You need some pracky, bro.
Yeah. I don't want some pracky.
Custom room. Create room. Making this shit right. Friends club members only.
Big Friends Club.
I don't know you.
My mic is muted. That's why you can't hear me. Ed, I made a room.
Bro. I know I added you. I had to have added you. Yeah.
You heard me, Ed?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have you on my friends list. I sent you the invite directly.
Okay, so I go. Where is it? I know I go somewhere and accept invite, right? Where do I
Yeah,
do that?
you got to leave your room that you're in.
Okay. Oh wait. Oh shit! Hit the wrong button.
You wanna go to custom room there?
Okay, I was supposed to go to custom room then accept, right?
Correct.
All right, let me play this.
That's why we give up on Halo so fast.
So fast. We was playing for like an hour and a half.
Bro,
I figured I'd be Halo till 4 in the morning.
Bro, I am not in high school anymore. I can't do that. I wish I could. I physically can't do that. That's the worst part.
I gotta get off the game in an hour.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yo, Ed, how you started a ranked match, bro?
I hit the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'm clapping this man's hands. I hit the wrong button. I don't know.
That's literally what's going on.
The matches while we wait.
Work for me?
Here comes a new challenge.
Here's my problem. I'm interested in Terry, but I don't own Terry, and I don't feel like spending money on the game.
I just hate that you gotta spend $12 to buy a character that's $6.
Sorry, excuse the fuck out of me.
You mean with my statement?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was trying to do math in my head. So what do you mean by that? Hold up.
So the characters cost 3 something in fighter coins, but there's no pack to buy exactly 300 of coins. You have to buy 610, which is $12. Well, it's 11 and change, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Oh. Sounds like give me your money. Now you have to. I'm getting your money either way.
Or help.
That was bad of me.
It sucks because I like Terrence.
Terrence Bogard.
Terrence Bogard. I play that man on Smash Ultimate. He's fun.
Yeah, when I had to finally learn what stage recovery is, so Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, his recovery is not great.
Well, the thing was, it's the method of doing it. People were just trying to rise and tackle back to the stage, and I'm like, bro, crack, shoot, burn, knuckle, then rise and tackle, bro. Like, you gotta move towards the stage.
It's because he got first like me
I thought I
playing
had it to
King
you.
K. Rool, and then trying to move over to Terrence.
Wait.
Alligator man.
Alligator Man takes 0 brain cells. That's why I love him. That's why he's my main.
Like, I'm gonna shoot a cannonball at this trumpet.
Mm-hmm. I'm a zone. Oh, I hit you with my zoning? I'm a capitalize on that. Oh, you're not falling for my zoning? I'm gonna cross you up and back air you into the stage.
This game has the animations that Terry deserves.
Agreed.
Fame, if you want to come talk crap, go ahead and come on in the chat. We're in Discord, you know it.
Pop up in here.
He's talking about when's KOF 15, and I'm like, don't worry, I'll get to that sometime soon.
Alright, I'm gonna do it, but somebody's teaching me classic, bro. I'm tired of playing modern on a hitbox. It's annoying.
Oh, Jesus. God bless your heart.
Yeah. He's been in a weird place since he got the hitbox. Cause he's a modern player.
I'm a modern player, but the hitbox modern is not fun. I may as well just play on a controller.
Or that
I
shit's
like
made for you to
having
play
my-
on keyboard if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to play KOF so much,
Okay.
and nobody ever wanted to play, so that's why I dropped it.
I actually got a gang that plays KOF. I just haven't been hanging with them lately. Been doing other stuff.
I literally have all DLC for that game too. I bought it to TO and everything. People are just like, nah, I'm good.
Damn. Oh, I ain't never played it, but I'll play with you, bro. If someone's playing something at a local, I'll try it. Like I just like playing games with people.
Yo,
What's good?
what happened? It's the best.
Street Fighter 6 is the best fighting game of all time. And KOF, ain't nobody ever heard of no KOF.
Ain't
The fuck
nobody
is that?
heard no KOF because KOF 15 is actually way too easy compared to Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 is actually the harder fighting game on the market.
I would argue out of the usual big three, it's actually Tekken 8 that's
Street Fighter, forget my roommate. He's playing MK with me. But Street Fighter 6 is actually harder to play than KOF 15. You know, and maybe that's why people gravitate towards Street Fighter 6 is because of how easy or how much harder it is to play than KOF 15. KOF 15, think about it. KOF 15 is actually easier because let's put proof on the table. Why do people like Smash Bros, right? Because they feel like it's easy to play, right? Why was Smash Brothers created? Because it was meant to be easy to play, right? Smash Bros and KOF move in the same way, right? That's for one reason. KOF is
I don't
easier
agree,
to play
but I
than
definitely
Street
want to
Fighter.
hear more of what you're saying.
Hold on, let me finish.
Oh, bro, we don't go through all the KOFs to explain this.
You just bite into the crust of the chicken. You ain't get past the breading yet. You got to let the meat and the marinade, and the juices, right down to the bone sink in, right? You just tasting the breading right now. So back to what I was saying. KOF 15 is actually easier than Street Fighter 6, because of the movement. I'm just gonna use KOF 15 because it's the easiest KOF in the series. Like KOF 15 is the easiest KOF in the entire series. Okay, so now let's begin with the fact that Street Fighter 6 has 6 active buttons while KOF has 4. Let's think about that one more again. I'm gonna say that one more time. Street Fighter 6 has 6 buttons. KOF has 4. That right there, the whole argument of anybody denying or disagreeing that Street Fighter 6, is easier to play than KOF is not, paying attention to facts and just going on personal bias.
Yeah. You have to be built for 6-button gaming.
Street Fighter 6 is that much harder to play than KOF 15. Now, I know y'all thought I was going to say things like execution and everything. No, because execution is no longer an issue because, like I said, KOF 15 is actually the easiest KOF to play in the entire series.
I didn't think that was going to hit you that far in the air.
Not to mention that, the infamous pretzel input that everybody was scared of doesn't even exist in King of Fighters.
Yes.
None of that happens in.
They did simplify everybody's inputs in 15.
Everything is simplified.
Me and you played how many hours of 14? Too damn many? Can I check that on PlayStation?
Well, it seems like fighting games is kind of unified. Like, this is what we want. This is what's comfortable. Let us do these inputs.
But then in Street Fighter 6, to do advanced combos in Street Fighter 6, you have to do everything around 1 frame links. Like
True.
1 frame, like to do like the max, the maximum damage optimal combos. You have to be able to do your 1 frame links and everything, off of stray hits and neutral and shit like that.
And I'm
including drive rush, adding drive rush juggle combos and all this and that. And you have to. That's so much that you have to do.
Consider all that. That's why I'm a Smash player.
And in KOF, you just go and do your combo. You can just do your combo as you do it.
Mm-hmm.
You just hit some buttons, and then the guys got less health.
And they do their dance. That's it. Street Fighter doesn't let you do that. And not only that, Street Fighter's movement is limited. It's kind of like the difference with an MMA fighter stepping in a boxing ring. There are things that a boxer would do that an MMA fighter would totally obliterate if he was allowed to do the freedom, of movement and striking from any angle with whatever he could, but there are certain rules that prohibit him from doing so.
So
yeah, that's so true.
Would you say that is the extent of what you wanted to say on that matter, or?
And so, with all those facts being laid bare on the table, I could go deeper, but I'm just starting with the most obvious one. With the movement and the fact that Street Fighter has 6 buttons and KOF has 4, and also to take the argument or any intended argument of execution off the table, because there is nothing in KOF 15 that cannot be done without 15 to 20 minutes in the lab. Whereas Street Fighter 6, your ass will be spending 15 to 20 minutes trying to do one of your advanced combos.
Yeah, and then repping that every single day for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So there is nothing in KOF that requires you to do that.
Rather than rebuttal your situation, I just want to ask what you believe makes Street Fighter 6 hard.
Okay, so we're going to go down a rabbit hole. I'm glad you asked, actually. Let's start with drive impact and the fact that we have frame data manipulation in real time. Frame data manipulation in real time when it comes from drive rush. Anything coming from drive rush, you're +4 on top of whatever it was that you had. Add that on top of burnout, which means you can manipulate your frame data by up to plus 8 additional frames. That when it comes to, you know, the average Joe Blow who just rolled off the futon, who doesn't know about frame data,
That's in any game, no
that
fan.
ain't gonna make no sense.
Any game.
In KOF,
Yeah.
there is nothing in KOF.
That's
There is nothing in KOF that manipulates or changes the frame data. Everything
Quick
in
mode and
there
max mode
is
don't
hard.
manipulate the data. Is what you're
It does
trying to
not.
say?
It does not. Max mode does not manipulate the frame data.
Especially when you hit from max distance on things. It manipulated what the plus and minus frames was in Mortal Kombat 11, 1, and other games. So this is an argument that would be because you do not understand your franchise well, you may not be deeply immersed in all of the mechanics and nuances that make up that franchise.
Street Fighter 6, in my personal opinion, is the easiest Street Fighter.
So here's
In the sense of easiest Street Fighter, I mean, and we're not even talking. I'm not even gonna talk about I'm not even talking about, what do you call it, the modern mode. I'm not even talking about modern.
part of fighting gaming is to make the game
But
easier.
most of these games do have dynamic hitbox changing, like Mortal Kombat does. Frame data does change depending on the range in which you.
That's true in every fighting game.
Exactly. So
I mean, so okay, so what you're talking about
True.
is like, you know, body launch attacks, like moves that travel a distance. Yes, at max distance. I'm talking about your actual normals. I'm not talking about your special moves, because when you're doing your drive rush, the drive rush doesn't affect the special move. I'm talking about your active base level normal attacks. I'm sorry, I should have been more specific.
No.
So
Because
everybody knows that a burn knuckle from max distance is safer than a burn knuckle from point blank range.
Sure.
But that's KOF knowledge.
Everybody knows that.
In Mortal
But
Kombat,
that's in Mortal Kombat. That's in everything. Yes, that's in everything.
no.
Blue Jay, go ahead and say your statement.
Depending on what you
Clarify,
hit.
please.
Yes, but that's in every fighting game. And
Yeah.
on top of that, you have to know the
Yeah.
frame data for every attack and also the drive rush frame data for
I
every
didn't say that wasn't the case though, but if you are talking about a casual that don't understand frame data and you have this on the normals at max distance as a base aspect that is happening, yes, adding in an additional piece is going to convolute the equation. They don't understand the base part of that happening in
What
the
I'm
game.
trying to say, I think that's the difference.
So this
If you
nuance
are
happens in any game. If
you are
you're not abreast. For an example, Edgar and I played Mortal Kombat. He's not an NRS kid, but when we talked about juggling and weight and things like that, and understanding those nuances for those games and those franchises, he had to approach it differently because he came from a different standpoint and was a complete casual in that aspect. If you don't understand the nuance of a certain franchise,
Oh no, it lost after.
Hold on.
Casual. Street Fighter 6 is the easiest Street Fighter, assuming
Absolutely.
that you have mastered Street Fighter's overall basic fundamentals that they usually have in the game. If you
That's
are
assuming
familiar-
that one has done
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
then
if
even
you are
that couldn't be
familiar with
said
prior
because
Street
not
Fighter titles,
because each Street Fighter plays differently from one Street Fighter to the next.
Wow. And you get to do these things, wow. But if you are new to fighting games, then Street Fighter 6 features tons of in-game features that you have to become aware of beyond
that would be the response
fundamentals.
to Mortal Kombat. These are new mechanics that you wouldn't understand if you were new to fighting games. Tekken, any of these other games, you're going to have that same standpoint from a casual person.
I think
All right,
I think the same argument can be made for many games. MK1, shit, even if you are familiar with previous MK titles, you might be bad at MK because MK doesn't.
Each MK is different too, outside of 9, 10, and 11 and 1.
Now, I don't think there's any individual. I think that's like an overall difficulty factor to MK as a franchise, is that it doesn't cater to legacy players like that, and you have to get good at every new MK.
Right.
However, new MK is not typically all that challenging, at least not to me. They typically all stay within a certain difficulty range of execution.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't discount any
execution like every
anything in MK, because I never looked at MK as being balanced game anyway. And I come from the land of MK, you
But
know.
the same
Like,
argument would be with Street Fighter, right? Because what he said was when he started a lot of this back in the beginning of this conversation was about one frame links and all of that, right? That hasn't changed from Street Fighter 5, from Street Fighter 4. Those one frame links have been in every installment that they've had. So if you are new to this installment today, years old, you're going to have the same issue that you would have had you played 4, 5, and all of those other ones, because this is the nuance of this particular game, where one frame links is the nuance versus in an NRS or other titles where you have 3 other frame links and timing windows in order to attack and extend those combos. This is a blanket and generalization of an argument that anybody would have at any approaching a title from a casual standpoint.
I think that argument probably pertains to most generations. Street Fighter is probably one of the harder fighting games. It's one of the more accessible entry-level fighting games to just start pressing buttons and have fun with, but it's one of the harder fighting games to get some kind of like high-level skill in. And I think that's always been true of Street Fighter compared to other fighting games. So that's not something unique to Street Fighter 6 versus King of Fighters 16 or 15. Street Fighter 4 was more complicated than King of, you know what I mean? Like
all of those are the same.
Because Street Fighter always, I mean, you bet, honestly, most Street Fighters, if you can't do one frame links, the barrier for entry to most of the basic bread and butter combos is blocked off to you.
Oh, especially around Street Fighter 4, that's when they started building Street Fighter's entire combo structure around one frame links. Now, yes, it's true that one frame links have been in older games, including TMNT tournament fighters and everything. All that one frame links were always around. That's not what I'm talking about. You know? But I'm glad that you did mention it. You know, but yes, they were always around. It's just that Street Fighter it's 4.
Yeah, between
the game was kind of built around. They put one frame links on the highlight. They put the spotlight on one frame links. You know, people may have been aware of them, but you know, they didn't know that they were there until they actually saw what was going on. Some people might have felt it, right? But Street Fighter 4, 5, and beyond, you know, they actually had it in the game, you know, with your trial combos and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not talking about one frame links, because KOF also has one frame links.
There we go.
It just so happens that KOF, you know, there are characters that, you know, you really don't need one frame links to do well. And not only that, but in general, you don't have to use one frame links to do the dirt in KOF 15. You don't have to. It's just a thing you can do.
Dragon Ball FighterZ is a great example of what I feel like what he's saying about like some of the barrier of entry ease. They actually had auto combos within when the actual for casual standpoint. Everyone knew outside of that knew how to do the actual manual inputs because you got more damage and could extend your combos very differently. And I feel that that same aspect is reiterated here in Street Fighter, right? Where they have like classic and all this other stuff, but then it's like, okay, you could do some your 2-3 hits, that's fine, and but you're not going to get capitalized off of it. Those
actual Dragon Ball.
If you did the manual stuff like that, and so when it comes to like how the game is played, I think that they try to make it more usual, casual.
They wanted
accessible. Yeah. But it has a depth similar to Dragon Ball Z, where sure we got auto combos in here for those that want to play the game for casual that don't know frame data but still want to look cool and be able to participate and do some shit, make they $70 worth of buttons worth something.
I like how Street Fighter handled it because it just took away the combo execution part, which is where a lot of people are struggling. Just the sequence of pushing a lot of buttons back to back. And I'm fine with that because taking that away doesn't make you good at neutral. You know what I mean? Doesn't make you good at multi, doesn't make you good at spacing, doesn't make you good at zoning, doesn't make you good at anti-airing. Like,
but it is kind of a handicap because
it is a handicap.
In essence, that's part of that
where you lost like half your moveset and a third of your damage.
Sure, but that's one of the things, was one of the parts of fighting games. When you back in the day got the booklet to the game and it had all of that shit in there, you were supposed to spend the time. That's why
you get an invite?
The fucking controller, because you're good at combos and shit. Like, that's the difference in what's supposed to. Why the developers made those combos? Why code the shit in there if I didn't really want you to do it?
I agree, but that's also.
Send D'Antonio your name on Street Fighter.
But everybody can do combos, though. It's the thing about them understanding the frame data in order for them to set those combos up and force them to happen instead of hoping that they happen, when on defense and they hoping that the opponent, misses a big move that they can obviously punish.
So, so then my argument would be then I feel personally that when you
dropped it in the general chat.
barrier, when you make the barrier of entry easier or easier for people to get into, what you do is you start to create false confidence in motherfuckers because they still don't understand the frame data. You've now encouraged them to get their $70 worth of buttons out.
That's the point. It's also
but now they got false confidence. They think, and then when it's a real bitch like Mua here, and they understand that all of them combos ain't working, and that they've paid all of their money, and they should uninstall. Now I'm getting called the N-word in chat because now they've developed this false confidence, and that mash tactic don't fucking work. And so, how to play the goddamn game. Now you finna hit the uninstall, and you have actually made it to the home screen before the fucking finishing attack hits you.
That's
hold on, sorry.
But people want to win at the character select screen now.
That's the FGC trend of, oh my god, this new fighter that everyone is hype about is coming out. Millions of people are playing it. Oh my god, 2 weeks later, this new fighter lost 85% of its player base.
Yep.
That's why. They have fun, they see the moves, they go, oh my god, this is hype. And then they hop online, story mode is done, now they hop online and realize what it's like to play actual fighting game players. Because
you've given them the microwave effect and fed into that aspect instead of giving them motherfuckers the tutorial to say, get good pussy, .101. At that particular point, the false confidence wouldn't be delivered and found on them, and they wouldn't come on the internet and waste my time and they motherfucking time and have me to send them a cute text message back that say, bitch, while you uninstalling, get a fucking Ethernet cable.
False confidence boost sale.
It's personal.
You pay $70, they get hyped, they play it for 2 weeks, you wait 3 months, you release a character that's blatantly broken, you get their extra $10, they win a couple rounds with a broken character.
And then they come see my black ass so they can do all
players figure that out. And then uninstall they re-lose 85% of the player base.
Can I interrupt guys for just a second? Can I interrupt guys for just a second?
We get y'all money. We get y'all money because y'all think y'all gonna do hype shit online, and then y'all play real people and realize that they're the ones doing the hype shit to you, and we lose most of the player base.
That damn sure happened in Sparking Zero. I'll be doing crazy shit to people.
And then we wait a little bit, couple weeks, couple months, whatever the spice, whatever the flavor for the game is, and then we drop broken DLC.
After the honeymoon phase is over.
Right? We drop.
Interrupt for a second, guys.
Right. We dropped some broken DLC. That's sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just letting you know I only have 45 minutes left to play. So I definitely do want to get in some matches.
So Flux, I want you to get up in this box and I want you to be asking questions.
Bucks, it's your turn. I already played.
Start the match.
I'm coming. Okay.
Other than that, you guys have said some very valid opinions. Some that I agree with, some that I don't, but I don't fault you guys for that. That's just your experience and how that you view those different games. But all in all, I don't see how KOF is easier, especially 15 is an easier game than 6. But I'll leave that to you guys.
I don't care. Okay, I played hours and hours and hours of 14, and I was better at Street Fighter 5, even though I played it less. Nah, bro, I think KOF is harder than Street Fighter.
And the other thing that I have to say, based on that,
you were getting wins in Street Fighter because of what Blue just said.
The way I look at it, though, the argument was displayed on a 6-button fighter versus a 4-button fighter, and you could look at any anime game and they're way more intense, in my opinion, especially games like Uni 2, or the Uni series in general.
But that's only because they also allow freedom of movement.
Generally speaking, a game being easier to play doesn't mean it's going to be easier to win.
Exactly.
True.
That is another thing.
Because if it's easier to play, it's easier to play for everyone, including people that were already good.
Yeah,
right?
Fair. So you look at
this Mortal Kombat is easier for you. It's also easier for Sonic Fox.
That was against my argument. That was my argument against Smash being easy.
Right. Smash, yes, it's a party game, right? Any person, a child, can pick Smash up and be doing moves and knock you off the stage. However, the upper echelon of Smash is fucking insane.
Absolute mouth breathers, dude.
And they funky as fuck too.
So that's the thing. A game being easy to play doesn't mean it's easy to win. Those are separate arguments.
Bro,
Easy to
Don't-
play,
don't
easy
ever-
to lab.
don't ever ask a professional Smash player if he's got any bitches. He's gonna be like, what type of technique is that?
I mean,
What is a bitch? How will this help me win Smash games?
A game can be so easy to play that the ease supersedes skill as a factor, really. You know what I mean? To where we basically all can do the optimal things because they aren't difficult to do. So it's
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's doing combos now. Everybody can do combos now. That's no longer the barrier to entry anymore, because combos used to be the one thing that separated you from somebody that knew how to play the game and somebody that didn't. Now everybody can do the combos. So now the next step is now knowledge of the game. You know, hence things like frame data.
Here's an argument I'll make though, because I used to say this a lot. I would watch Jayla's like Blue Beetle play, right? Because she didn't do the highest damage combos off of every touch, or she didn't like punish everything that was punishable with the biggest punish that was available. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Punish would just be a throw or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you factor in the number of hits, right, just the number of times she was able to successfully open, a lot of these casuals have solid fighting game ideas that honestly get tainted once you start learning about frame data and fighting game fundamentals a little bit, because you start thinking like there's a way you're supposed to play.
Right.
So like, and the reason I say casuals have decent ideas is because think about in a casual match, you play some random that's button mashing or whatever. Think about how many times they land a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might get cooked, but think about how many times they land a straight hit on you.
That's because they don't have the fear that, you know, that cripples somebody who knows.
And realize that like, but what if behind these straight hits was execution? You know what I mean?
That's the spot where I'm at, where I'm like above that casual level,
Right,
where I'm
obviously,
like,
this person has good spacing, spatial awareness. You know what I mean? They're probably watching your meter if you're not catching them with wake ups and shit like that. If you're not able to respond defensively, then they're probably watching your defensive resources. You know what I mean? If they start zoning when the clock gets low, they're probably watching the timer. So like these are players with awareness and not execution.
I'd be freezing up, too, because I'm thinking of like way too much in a match.
Fighting game mentality that just simply don't have execution.
People who identify themselves as a defensive, neutral-based footsies type player don't really know how to play fighting games. And that's what games like Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 have exposed. And that's what sent everybody in a tailspin. You learned how to defend yourselves for 30 years. You learned how to play fighting games going backwards. You learned how to play fighting games from somebody who told you, yo, don't do this combo, don't do that. And, you know, because if you miss, I can do this. And then they got you to freeze up while they, you know, sat there and did whatever they wanted to do to you because you were told to not do anything because you could get punished. So now when they put the tools out here for you to say, hey, look, go ahead, go forward. They realize they learn how to defend themselves. Now they don't know how to attack.
Yeah,
because they've been taught to go backwards the whole time.
Cycle in the
they don't know how to play fighting.
You know what I mean? With frame data, we kind of went through a whole power levels or bullshit type thing where like it was like nobody was even talking about power levels, and then some motherfuckers started sensing it, and then it became all we were talking about, and then it stopped mattering again once we. You know, I think a similar thing kind of went down with the FGC with frame data, right? Because there was a point when most fighting game players knew nothing about frame data. They had the concept of like, I can move after this attack, I can't move after this attack, or whatever. But most people didn't know the fucking frame data, or even have a moves list in many cases.
Now we're out here playing a MOBA, like we got our notes out, like
you know what I mean? Or, like in many cases,
we live in a time where offensive players and people who are going on offense are called derogatory terms like unga bunga or brain dead or this and that and the third. But what they actually what they're really doing is projecting.
Yeah.
What they really mean to say is shame on you for making me think faster than I'm more comfortable, for forcing me to make decisions before I'm ready.
Oh, this is my
Shame
turn.
on you.
This is when I can go.
That's what they really mean to say. So when you hear somebody call you unga bunga this, it's because you rushed them the fuck down. Yeah, you didn't give them the time to think, as you should. Because the longer a fight goes on, the more time you give your opponent to figure some shit out.
Yeah, most people that start learning frame data get cooked by somebody that's mashing.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't understand it. Most people that start learning frame data get cooked by somebody that fucking mashes, and then they get furious because the stuff they think they understand about frame data isn't exactly true. In the grand scheme of things,
frame data is only a part of one triangle. Like if you look at it like a triangle, the different play styles that there are.
When you hear about it and you're trying to learn fighting games, it sounds like the holy grail.
Yeah.
It sounds
frame
like
data is only going to help you with that one section, and if you excel at that play style, then the frame data is going to help you. But if you don't excel at that play style, you do it that.
But not like it should define how you play.
You still got to go to school and learn how to read.
Yeah, you got to learn how to read. But for me, like in Smash, what works for me a lot more, because I know frames and I understand frames, but I don't have the execution to nail those frames every time. So I cover space, I cover options, and I make my opponent think really hard about what they have to do.
And you pick a character that allows you to play to your strengths and weaknesses.
And the unfortunate reality to frame data is that a lot of times once you get deep enough to it and start analyzing solutions, the solution is mashing, and you end up back to the starting place of fighting game.
That's what I hear a lot of pro players say about Smash Ultimate. It's like this game's it looks all crazy what they're doing.
A lot of people learn like plus frames, minus frames, and they go, okay, minus frames means I'm slower, so that means I have to block, right? If I push a button, I'm gonna get hit. But then when you deeper about that, that's not what
him on screen right now. He's just spectating right now.
Right, but then you think deeper about that, and that's not what that means. That mean minus does not mean you have to block.
I hate it. Right. So long for me to get warmed up.
Exactly.
Where my
that's what the scrub that the average defensive player that learned how to play fighting games. That's what they were taught by that scrub. Was that you're minus, so
you should be blocked. And it's like, no, I'm minus. Okay, so my fastest attack won't be his fastest attack. Do I have armor? Do I have invincibility somehow? Like,
can I avoid the attack?
You know what I mean? Like, are there flashes in this game or something there are a number. That's a situation, and then you analyze that situation. That's not a
have I conditioned my opponent to go for a low when I'm in this situation, so I can punish that low?
Right. Is my opponent conditioned to push their fastest button, or have they been pushing something a little slow? Maybe I should manage, even though I'm minus. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm -5, but they've been going for something that's got 16 frames of startup after this.
Just because it reaches or some shit.
Conditioning is a crazy thing, and that's why I love long sets.
That's one of my.
Like you learn it, and it seems like the frame data. You learn frame data, and it seems like the holy grail of fighting. But then you start using it and get cooked by mashers, and then you learn that it's just an introduction to more situations that you can identify.
It's a part of the Trinity.
Right.
The Holy Trinity.
And I'm gonna bring this up because people don't talk about this enough. I think it needs to be brought up. If you're uncomfortable in a fighting game, you're just not gonna perform as good as you should be.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I'm plus here. Why did you mash? And it's like, well, in previous times that you've been plus here, have you been pushing your fastest button? Have you conditioned me that, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Or did you just start the match and do something that was plus and then go, okay, now I can do a big move? No. You got to throw some lights after your plus frames to show me that I can't mash.
Right. I'm gonna keep doing something until you show me that I can't.
That's so crazy. That's the.
You know what I mean? So it's like that. It's not.
Oh boy, can I get in here?
I'm mining back in the block.
Let's see something.
Sometimes knowing too much can be a crippling thing in a situation too. Knowing too much, because then you'll be cycling through so many different things that you could do when you should do just the simplest thing or whatever. So like there is a such thing as knowing too much, and that's another thing that cripples people because then they become indecisive about how they respond to certain, moves and shit.
What's that shit? It starts with a D, where you learn a little bit about something and then you think you know a lot more than you do.
Dunning-Kruger syndrome.
Yeah, Dunning-Kruger type thing. Like, frame data is like learning a little bit about fighting games, kind of. And then you think you've become a guru in fighting games. Like, well, now I know frame data. But then you don't really know shit until you start entering the situations with different characters and matchups and what you can do with that frame data.
And not just the characters, though, but the players behind those characters.
And the players behind them, exactly. And so then the more people learn about frame data, the more they realize that that doesn't really tell them anything about fighting games, and that they have to play against the player they're fighting. You know what I mean? Like,
frame data seems like the holy grail to somebody that never heard of it or understood how it works until they were
I keep doing that when I think I have a round. Jesus Christ.
As a new concept, it seems like something that should really be focused on.
Yeah.
I have no resources.
I'm coming for that ass, Antonio.
And it's
I know. That's what I know.
So hard. It's hard to put into words how to specifically play a fighting game because there's no way to specifically play a fighting game, right? You have to play the person you are fighting against. And that's a weird thing to conceptualize because there are millions of us playing these shits.
But people get character PTSD all the time. And and the first thing they always say is character matchup this, playing against this character, you want to do this, but nobody ever talks about the player.
You know what I mean?
Those characters. Does this player have execution that? Does the execution things that make that character deadly, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people start playing themselves conditioned based on the ass whooping that they receive by the best player using the best character. So now they play even the scrub player using the best character the same way they play against the best player because of what they are aware that the character can do, even though that this opponent that they're playing, Johnny Two Nuts, for the first time online, even though they never proved to you that they could do what the best player did to you. Character PTSD is a real phenomenon.
And they don't understand what they're losing to a lot of times too. Like Mortal Kombat, Johnny Cage and Mortal Kombat is an example. Because a lot of people, both pros and casuals, complain about Johnny Cage, right? But Johnny Cage never got touched in the ways that people thought he would get touched in, like ways that mattered. But it's because the stuff casuals are complaining about is not the stuff that was actually broken. They're complaining about the stuff they don't know how to beat. It's not the stuff that he was doing that was unbeatable. You know what I mean? Like you got casuals that were mad that Johnny had like strings with mix in them, and that wasn't the problem because there's things inside of frame data that can teach you how to block the mix. The problem is that every single one of Johnny's fucking buttons is plus. Literally, and I mean every single one of them.
Does Johnny have?
Oh yeah, we went over that. You gotta learn how to. What is the term for it?
Does he have a projectile?
No, but
they took green ball out.
Okay, no projectile. All right. Does he have a way to quickly close the distance past projectiles?
So he doesn't have a projectile himself, but you get assist in him.
You say, with assists?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all. Okay, yeah. You can use an assist for projectiles. That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
he doesn't have one, but you get assist in this game. So there are plenty of assist projectiles. Quite a few of them are great. So it's have a great projectile at his disposal.
Now, do other characters in the game with fireballs, do they have a lot of plus buttons?
No, that's something exclusive to Johnny Cage. There are other characters with plus frame attacks, but plus frames on every single one of your standing buttons is something exclusive to Johnny Cage.
Doesn't he have a neutral skip when he's in his star mode though?
So when he also has this mode he can do where he can cancel his special moves into special moves.
Okay.
So it's like an install that you gotta earn, basically.
Right. Yeah, you do have to
taunt
earn
thing that he does.
He has to earn it. He has to taunt you like 2 or 3 times. to get in.
So that's a condition. That's a condition that he has. That's not
Yeah,
right out
yeah,
the gate. All
that's
right.
like that is another thing that has nothing to do with
When
what
I have
makes
a
it.
script to run, I'll let you know. But I don't
That
even have a script to run, so I don't need it
hey,
now.
if they took that away completely, Johnny Cage would still be the best character in the game. Is the thing.
Well, how? Oh, because I used the EX.
Wait, why is something burning all of a sudden?
Real
Is
power.
there any other character that lacks a projectile that has plus buttons like that?
Yeah.
There are other characters that like projectile, but not that have plus frames like that. No.
But do they like now? Do those characters have trouble getting in?
Wait, how is there a bunch of reefs? It's just
He
should
really
be water.
has trouble getting in because of the system. I think the right assist, you could kind of create a
Yeah, I was
situation.
about to say all I did was boil rice.
A lot of getting in revolves around your ability to play neutral with your character, I feel, and not everyone is good at that.
Right.
That's a tough question for me to answer, I guess. There are no like trash characters in them. There is a tier list, but none of the characters are like bad where like you can't win them.
Right.
The worst character can beat the best character. But it's a best character, like clear and definable.
Oh yeah, and that's always been Mortal Kombat since the original. Like, and that's intentional. Like, there's no such thing as a balanced Mortal Kombat.
I mean, that's part of that thing that they were talking about, though. That Jayla was just talking about, where the game has a lot of easy features. Casuals want to do cool stuff. Out there, out the weeks, it's hard. They drop a broken DLC character that everyone has a hard time winning against, and casuals win.
It's just meant for you to have a good time with.
Yeah.
Like, there is deep shit that you can do, but like, don't get mad if you can't do it. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. But
that
that's mine. It should be applied to every fighting game, basically. Like,
true.
Realize that it. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah, especially fighting games that say they're trying to do the esports thing.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. Something about calling it ranks really gets to people's head. Because I'm like, wait, Ed Boy said he getting hate mail over sparking zero fights, and I'm like, that's because they call it ranked.
Yeah.
If it was just online, it'd be fine, but they call it ranked, and you can see
this is the same community that migrated from Dragon Ball, fighters, because they couldn't handle a real fighting game structure, so they went to that sparking.
It's the group that like spark Dragon Ball Fighters was too much, but what was that game? Xenoverse wasn't enough.
Right.
A lot of the people that are bad at fighting games overall think that what was too much about fighters was that it was an assist game, and it's like, no, you just bad at fighting games.
An assist game even worse for you because you're just bad already.
Yeah.
Now you're bad with 3 characters.
Oh my gosh, my medium button.
Community is going through that now too. A lot of the player base thinks they're bad at MK1 because it's an assist game, and it's just like, no, you're just bad. The assist component adds another component that you are bad at, but you're bad at fighting games.
Yeah, this modern era of fighting games just exposed a lot of people. You just found out, like I said, they just don't know how to actually play.
Well, because they made the games easier and it didn't change anything about the hierarchy.
Yeah. But my argument was
almost every modern fighting game is easier than its predecessors, and like the pro scene looked the same.
I'm like, so it doesn't matter because if you didn't know stuff back then and you're trying to come in now and it's still the same and made it easier, what difference does it make?
Nobody that was good when the fighting games were harder is playing the newer, easier ones. Like, oh my god, I can't.
What do you mean, Johnny Two Nuts?
I think it's funny that there's less fighting game players
doesn't have a
actually
chance
now.
against the 5-time Evo champion. What do you mean? That's what we're going for.
There is a conversion factor, right? The FGC is bigger than it was in the past, so there is a factor of like getting that bigger, inviting, even if it's a bait, like Jayla was saying, right? Just inviting that bigger player base gets a bigger percentage, or whatever percentage of that number that gets converted into actual FGC is bigger just because the number is bigger. Right? There is a portion
There's
of
definitely more competition out there.
yeah, there is a portion
The internet has a way of opening things up.
that after gaining an understanding of neutral and shit through playing from modern, switch to classic and start taking it.
I thought you was gonna rust the shit out of me. I was ready for it.
Right, that demographic does exist.
I was gonna use Power Geyser, but the way you were jumping, I thought it was gonna whip.
And that's a good thing. Right?
Like people out here talk about, you know, when Virtual Fighter 6 comes out, oh, it needs to be easy to play, this and that and the third. It needs to cater to a casual audience. And I'm sitting here like, no, it doesn't. Virtual Fighter needs to be Virtual Fighter because let's be real. All right? Let's be real. Anybody anybody not age 35 or older doesn't give a fuck about Virtual Fighter. Don't bother with those people. That's not your audience because Virtual Fighter has not been here since 2006. That's when the last time we got Virtual Fighter was 2006. That was the last game. Okay, if you're not 35 or older, if you are not 35 years old or older, you don't give a fuck about Virtual Fighter.
Fuck.
We do not need Virtual Fighter.
I don't think that's fair to
out
say.
Here looking like Tekken with you know, explosions and cutscenes and all. We don't need all that. Let Virtual Fighter be Virtual Fighter because Virtual Fighter has not been here since 2006. Chances are, if you're not at least 35 years old, you don't know what the fuck.
Is there not a way I can look at controls here?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I think
it's
so. Therefore, we don't need to be catering to, you know, the community. That's looking to, you know, download the next Fortnite dance, you know, for their character. We don't need that. That's not what Virtual Fighter needs to do.
I'm gonna honestly say you just sound like you don't want to really meld with the new age. My thing to really say on that though,
no, I'm not saying it's not.
Hold on, hear me out though real quick, because you got to say a lot. I'm just saying, like, I'm not even 35 and I grew up on VF, so like I'm not far off. I'm about to be 35, but still, like, I don't. Regardless, though, like when you come to that statement, like
You're in that range.
True, but I grew up on VF and VF2, you know, and on the worst format on the Genesis. But still, I absolutely loved it. Still going to arcades.
Sorry
but like I said, you know, by the time Virtual Fighter comes out, if you're gonna be 35 by the year 2026, then you will be 35 years old.
I get that, but what I'm just trying to say is, regardless of the statement that you're saying, though, even if you've been playing the older games or newer games, there's going to be people that are still playing even from that time. Let's look at people like Jay Wong. Let's look at people like.
How old is Justin Wong?
He is
again, he's in our age group. What we're talking about, those legacy players. You got your youth players. I have people that I mentor in my youth tournaments that play Third Strike and refuse to play any other Street Fighter. So it doesn't mean your age determines your skill or what you're willing to play.
There have been several Street Fighter games since 2006. We haven't had a real Virtual Fighter new entry since 2006.
I get that with VF5 and VF5 Final Showdown too.
Make them ass whooping stuff that you can't play no season motherfucker like me and my shit and
everybody's been like Street Fighter is on every lips, grandmama's lips, great grandmama's lips. You know, it's on your auntie's lips, it's on your cousin, your little. Everybody knows Street Fighter.
But what you're talking about ignores a core benefit of making the games more accessible. That it's not that.
I'm not talking about making it more accessible. I'm talking about not trying to market to the Fortnite crowd. That's not where we're at.
It's about making them easier and flashier.
We don't, but reality.
The Virtual Fighter is already easy.
That kind of inflates the population. You do want to get more people, but then that's like said we inflated the numbers so we can look good on paper.
Virtual Fighter is already easy.
In both ways, you have to inflate, right? There is a small percentage of any given fighting games player base that actually becomes a part of the FGC, right? Most of them are getting it.
Well, we know they're going to fall off.
People over the age of 35 who have never heard of
the wrong one.
I'm not
over the age of 35 who have never heard of Virtual Fighter
are not going to stay.
Going to be interested in Virtual Fighter. They're not going to play the game past 3 weeks anyway.
Think about what that means for the franchise, though.
No. Listen, say that. Okay, you got to understand that when the franchise makes the sale of a game, they can care less whether you continue playing the
Yes.
game online or not. They made the sale already. They cashed that check already.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we're not looking to
We don't care about
we're
who's
not looking
scoring
to artificially inflate the player base just to make it look like, hey, this is cool, it's fun, it's happening.
It's a duality.
Okay? Because the game has been gone too long to
But you have to
try
understand, it's still a business.
and say we're going to draw in a new audience.
I swear it was
because
gonna be
you
like
ask
Apex. I
anybody
should have got
about
used to it.
35 what virtual fighter is, they'd be like, what's that? Ain't that kind of like Tekken? Ain't that the game that like was trying to copy like Tekken?
I mean, so it's a business, and this is a business model that obviously gets them more money than the model did in the past, right? So for that reason, one, we already know. But even beside that, right, there is a small portion of the any player base for any fighting game that actually becomes part of the FGC's player base for that game. That can't really be changed, right? It's just whatever small percentage that number is pretty much what we got.
That's a very small percentage.
Yes.
Very small.
You can improve that number by making the number that it is a percentage of bigger. So for that reason, mass appeal
Virtual Fighter
is a double
showdown.
I looked at your meter and thought I only had one. I could have popped a 3 right there, and I'm so mad at myself.
Those games, Virtual Fighter already.
Bro, hold up. Let me rename my stream.
It's because of the fact that Virtual Fighter was so easy to play, and they didn't have any checks and balances like special meters or special comeback mechanics or things like that. Because it was just raw, me versus you. What I know about the game versus you know about the game. What I can do in the game versus what you can do in the game, and others. Okay, Virtual Fighter is super. Like you can literally play that game with one hand.
All right, I had to adjust the name of the stream. All right, we're good.
You can literally play that game with one hand. You cannot say the same for a lot of these other.
I'm
Virtual Fighter is hard to play because of how simple.
Yeah, I'm not arguing against y'all. I haven't played Virtual Fighter like that. Outside of what we
I don't
play.
blame you. If you didn't grow up with it, you probably won't play it.
Outside of what we played when I played the Drunken Fist guy with you.
Shundi?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember that, but we played a session of Virtual Fighter where I played Shundi against you. You showed me some stuff, and then I played Shundi against you. That's the amount of Virtual Fighter I've played. It was fun, but that's the amount of Virtual Fighter I've played.
Yeah, and that's expected.
Because I'm only 32.
So for people to say, oh well, Virtual Fighter needs to sell to people that play the Tekken and da 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 da, like they've been gone too long for that. I
guess my thing for that for all games is just that it's a double-edged thing, right? Obviously, we get more players that we don't want, but there's also in all of these making these games easier. There is in all of these games a pipeline of those mass numbers that convert to serious players, right? Some portion of the motherfuckers that was mashing in Dragon Ball Fight move on to learn bigger combos. And then when you learn bigger combos and you still can't win, you learn that there's more to winning in a fighting game than big combos. And then you start learning neutral. There is a pipeline if they're interested enough in the game from that excess audience to more FG.
You want to know the one thing that the few people who have heard about Virtual Fighter say that they would play Virtual Fighter if there was more of, and you'd be surprised at the answer because it's not even gameplay related.
Hold up, right there. Hold up.
More Virtual Fighter. And what I'm about to say has nothing to do with actual gameplay.
Okay.
It's cinematics.
Oh.
They just want cutscene stuff.
Hey, yo, VF5 when it was first in the arcades, though, when I was on the big Jumbotron arcade machine, at an arcade I went to, that shit was hot. It might have been Virtual Fighter 4. It was either 4 or 5. But when that shit was hot back then. You gotta remember, I was in elementary, so that was like 2000.
And you were also in Florida, though, right?
No, I was in North Carolina, but same thing. Yeah.
There's culture down there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
You trying to D'Antonio?
are begging
You trying
for
to get
cutscenes.
some in before you gotta go?
Go ahead. What were you
Yeah,
saying?
we can get some matches up.
Yeah, I wanted to explain the flux because I'm trying to teach my student here. It's good that we're having this conversation because this like kind of makes you think differently about going from fighting game to fighting game. But yeah, what I'm trying to get you to
There's
do,
too many
Flux.
fighting games out there, and and the competition is too big to warrant going from fighting game to fighting.
Yeah, that's
Unless
why I
you just
tell
download
everybody.
Liggity that you're that good, or you just really enjoy fighting games.
Because I have it on dynamic.
I tell everybody to either stick to Street Fighter or Tekken, because once you go outside of Street Fighter or Tekken, things get weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny enough, I say beginners should not start with Tekken. That's just me.
I don't want to say things get weird as far as like gameplay sense, is because Tekken has its things, that they have its inconsistencies, but that's what makes Tekken Tekken, and then Street Fighter, for various reasons, both of these games are like household names. If you're coming in from, I used to play Forza and I used to play Gran Turismo and Flight Simulator, but fighting games look kind of cool, I want to try them out. Fighting games would only get weird because the competition outside of the games that have 50 million players, at varying skill levels, at your own skill level, it will make you feel like, you're always, learning, because you're not going to be put up against somebody that's been playing the game at such a high level that's just going to completely obliterate you, or at least the chances of that happening are lower, at least with those games, because the player pool is larger. But when you go to things like, let's say, VF or KOF, they're more concentrated, because they took let's say they took some of the restrictions off of things. They took the handlebars off things, right? It would kind of be overwhelming, especially on the strength that the only people, I don't want to say the only people that play these games, there's only two types of people that play these games. The ones that are good at these games and the ones that had an initial intermediate level understanding that they could improve at those games. But if you don't have the mentality and understanding, because people are just wired differently, and I don't want to sound condescending, and I know that can sound like, hey, who the fuck is this dick? Because I've been accused of being a narcissist before, so I don't want to sound like that, okay? Because people are just wired different. People learn differently. People respond to stimuli differently, okay? That's just the way it is, right? Oh, no, he just pulled the plug. Nah, he rage quit. He saw you was about to finish his ass. Mortal Kombat dudes be weird like that.
Yeah, they do that.
Think fatalities are.
Tell Wheels why he ain't never trying to play. Why he ain't trying to play me in MK1.
But Wheels Nerd said why you ain't trying to play him in MK1. But yeah, like and it goes back to what we was talking about before about the minus and plus. Yeah, I'm only -2, but I'm still from the press here. Mentality, right? There's mentalities that are involved, behind these characters. It's just that, games outside of, Street Fighter and Tekken, they allow for, these checks and balances to be kind of, taken off.
So
and
my
that can be
question,
overwhelming for somebody.
My question for you, based on every
the shit. Oh, go ahead.
My question to you, based on everything that you said this evening, are you more or less looking at this from a standpoint of a competitive player, a casual player, or somebody who just plays fighting games via their console, so semi-casual? I just want to know your mindset.
My mindset, I'm glad you asked, is actually really, really simple. I'm just somebody who literally grew up in the arcades, and I'm used to the trial and error, get out there and do the thing, type guy,
I think that's kind of over because of the internet, though. Not
because of the internet. Yes, things have changed because now we're in the information age, and now everybody knows what I know. Everybody can do combos just like me.
Yeah, like even if the game is quote unquote hard, I can go online and look up what the sequence of buttons is, right? Even if, like, you got to do a 150 button touch of death to be good at this game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me go online and look up what the 150 buttons are, right? Like, So it's hard to. Whereas obviously in the '90s that would have been hidden information where you see that shit in the arcade and now this person is a god, right? Like, I mean, it's different now, right? It's why
different now. Yep.
you can't get another Evo 37 is because we didn't have the internet, so nobody. The general assumption was you just couldn't fucking parry Chun-Li Super.
Until they saw somebody in the world that could actually do it, and then it was like,
Yeah. Right.
and that's when people started wanting to learn to go down the rabbit hole of Street Fighter 3.
But in the online remake of Third Strike, though, they added that shit as one of the practice tutorials, right? That's a whole different era of the game then now, right?
Right.
You are now not getting a standing ovation for doing it. It just, you hit the lab. Good job. Right? So, like, that's some of it. Some of it to a certain degree. Yes, games are easier, but also there's just more information. We're fucking better at them. I wish young me would try current me in a fighting game. I don't care which one it was.
I heard that.
There's so much I didn't know that, like, your perspective is so flawed on these shits. I'm finna cook you with whatever the fundamentals of whatever fighting game you choose is. I would let young me pick.
The young me.
Yeah.
You pick. You pick whatever game you think you can cook. You think you're currently the shit in, and I'm gonna beat your ass in it.
In KOF 15?
No, I'm just saying if I like had to talk to young me about fighting young me in a fighting game, I'd be like, oh, you can pick whatever fighting game you think you're good at, young me, and I'm gonna beat your ass in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, current me is definitely way better than, you know, the young guy, you know, that I grew up
the
in
person you're talking about from
down for one, you're gonna be done.
the person you talking about from that era you remember so fondly, you would fucking body.
I would destroy him. Oh yeah.
And not just because, oh, these games are, you could pick up an old game that neither of you have played. You know what I mean? An old game that you've never played, so it would be new to old you, and new you would fucking cook old you.
Oh hell yeah! Oh,
right? Your perspective on fighting games is too much better. There's too much more information. We are better at fighting games as a community. It isn't just that they're easier; they're easier, and we're better at them. So this is why, kind of at every skill level, if you get caught lacking, you can get cooked by Joe Schmo. They're easier, and we all have. Joe Schmo got the internet too.
Yep, he got the same combos you starting with. So you gotta step outside the box if you want to beat him.
Right. He watched Frosty Faustings too. He didn't go, but he watched it. He saw the text.
I love the information is in everybody's face now. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's where I'm at. Shit, I be encountering them, and they be like, "Oh, this somebody Smurf." Nah, I don't even go to them. I watch them though, and I steal the tech.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do with KOF 15. I just watch highlights. I just do what they do because this information certainly wasn't available.
Yeah.
And you know,
frame data, we didn't get the moves list half the time.
Barely was even scratching the surface with frame data, even in a Virtua Fighter 4.
But most of the time, you didn't have a fucking training mode. You just had to insert another player with player 2.
Yep. Yeah, you had to be rich to practice at the arcade by yourself, let alone, you know, be at an arcade that was not so busy that somebody was going to let you hog up a whole nother arcade cabinet by themselves, you know, while they trying to play whoop your ass with their homies. Like, nah.
I didn't know about the tournament scene.
You had to learn on the fly, bro.
I didn't know about the tournament scene at all for fighting games, and I wasn't, like, rich. But the arcade, kind of like my tournament outings, I guess, is how I treated them. Like, I practiced at home, and then it was, like, serious when I went out to play on the weekends.
Yeah. We used to go from arcade to arcade, laundromat to laundromat, you know, would have these games, the little bodegas and shit, would have little arcades and shit.
Oh, and, I did it too early.
Hell, even Pizza Hut would have these games sometimes. And we'll just go from these spots where they say, oh yeah, such and such that worked there, yeah, he was good. Ooh, all right, let's see what you got on break. And you know, and we cook, you know, and then type shit.
It's like
it was a squad.
The shit I was cooking people back in the day with wouldn't work on me now.
Oh yeah,
that's the problem. I'm like, oh, that shit wouldn't work.
He's like, you're minus. Why would you press right there? Did you see what I pressed? It was an invulnerable move, sir.
Perspective is too different. So like,
they'd be like, oh, you should play with more respect. You're not respecting my block strings. You're just an unga bunga. You're
have
a gorilla. You're not
literally
respecting my
have
block
to make
strings
me
and blowing up my +1 with
You
an
literally-
invulnerable move.
you literally have to make me respect the move. Respecting a move means that you have made me afraid of the move.
Mm-hmm.
You literally have to make me respect the move.
The fuck?
I am not playing your game like sure you can exist. You have to correctly use the sure you. Not like, oh, sure you can
There is
exist.
no timetable. I am in debt.
But yeah, you know, if you're coming into the game for the first time, like he said before, just stick with Street Fighter and Tekken until, you know, you mentally reach an aha moment where you decide, you know, you can step outside of the dome and experience reality. You know?
Personally, I think you should play Street Fighter over Tekken. And I only say that just because I feel like you can play a lot of Tekken before you realize you're
close to being almost done.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the other games where the skill, you know, gap is a lot more obvious,
where like
you're gonna pick up King of Fighters or whatever other game that's not called.
I'm actually
done. You jump
I'm
into those
content.
games, you can come across an expert. You know, you're more likely to come across somebody that really knows how to play the game, and you don't have a good time in it, and then you feel like, oh, I'm not getting better because I'm not winning, and then you go play the thing that you feel like you can get wins.
Yeah, I'm not saying
That's
that
how psychology works.
because I think you can get wins. The problem is you
I
can't.
forgot you could do that in the air.
You can get wins in a lot of the lower ranks and really not know anything of Tekken's true fundamentals. If you know what I mean. I think you can take
Right. I mean, no, I'm not discounting that, but my point is there's way more players among those lower ranks.
I thought your sample
in
was
which,
animated. So I thought
you know, and, you know, so there's way more food for you to pick from, so that you can grow at your own pace.
That's fair.
And it feels like, you know, every day you make a little bit of progress.
But I guess I don't know. Yeah, I feel like Tekken is a game that like it will be easy to improve in Tekken. You know something about fighting game fundamentals versus if you trying to learn fighting game fundamentals through Tekken.
You need to buy Ram.
I just feel like you can play a lot of Tekken and not be learning fundamentals. You use a lot of things trying to get your character good, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Now, what do you mean? You feel like if you play long-term Tekken, you won't have a lot of fundamental.
You just spend a lot
would be for overclocking the Ram.
and just trying to get your character's move list and think that's it.
Yeah.
All right, I could do one more match after this.
It's not really overclocking.
I mean, but typically people that only play Tekken, they generally end up being decent at Tekken. Yeah, just if that's the only thing they play.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you can play a lot of Tekken before you still learn like higher level fundamentals and stuff.
I mean, because like Tekken is the money game as far as fighting games go. So like,
yeah.
Yo, what's up, Shotgun?
More accessible.
Yeah, that's where everybody is. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's where everybody's gonna be.
I guess I feel like if you play, and I guess for learning purposes, if you play Street Fighter, you would learn sooner online that you were bad than you would in Tekken.
I should have went for jumping heavy dip.
You said you got one more?
Yep.
And speaking of the whole money thing, like that was a thing that I used to hear back, you know, back in the day too, a few years ago, when people would say things like, "Oh, I'm not playing this game because, oh, it only gets such and such entrance for said game. There's no money in it, right?"
It's
As
like
if these players have ever placed in a tournament where they've made money, let alone been good enough to where they could travel out of town or the next town over.
You're not Punk who made $500,000 exactly.
It's like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so people who utter that kind of shit, oh, ain't no money in it. Like, dude, you ain't good.
it'd be like, dog, we pretty much know who's getting the money.
You don't make enough to make two wooden nickels in your pocket, sir.
Yeah.
20s on
It'd be like, we in every fighting game, the community pretty much know who getting the money.
Right. Your whole local bracket pool was $88, bro. Like, stop playing.
Yeah, like Like you ain't making that kind of money.
Any given fighting game community with the motherfuckers that show up, we pretty much know who's getting the money.
Yeah.
You ain't got to say you trying to get.
But yeah, that's just something that I hear a lot of scrubs say for why they don't play a game is because X amount of players don't play it and there's not enough money in the pools. I'm like, dude, you're not good enough. You ain't even good enough to get past, 0-2. Every time you stepped up to the tournament, you went 0-2. And the only time you ever got 1-2 is when you had a first round bye. Nigga.
Hey now, you're not gonna motherfucking face paint.
A lot of people don't even understand that tournament format though, because I've seen that online in the Facebook.
That's to my tournament life.
People complain like, oh, they be like, oh, they call themselves pros, but it's always the same 16 people. And I'd be like, do you not realize that before the on-screen matches, they played hundreds of
Combo Breaker? What? Street Fighter alone had 4,000 people. Or excuse me, Evo. Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Evo had 4,000 people.
Had 4,000 people, bro. Like,
hey,
GG's. Were you there?
Thank you.
If you were there, where
Good
did
job,
you play in those 4,000 people, sir?
The room is gonna collapse, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Top 8? Oh, you didn't get paid?
Oh wait, no,
What?
I'm
What are we talking
I'm him
about?
now.
Yeah, you're
I'm the
him
host.
now. Yes.
Oh, did it default to you?
hours
Yeah.
of winning
Awesome.
without getting beaten to
I
end
don't
up
want
on
to
this.
flux shit, man.
Say what?
Oh no, I
that's
have
my
to
semi.
fight Jay now, don't I?
No, you can fight Ed Boy.
Oh, I fought Ed, I fought D'Antonio. I feel like it's only fair.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna
Pleasure
give some
talking with you
advice while
guys
you're
this
fighting.
evening.
You're gonna beat my
I'll definitely
motherfucking
get up
ass,
with you when I
Jay. I
can.
just want you to know. But I'm gonna come at this with confidence, and I'm gonna do my best.
Word.
Well, I'm gonna do my best to beat your absolute ass.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't have it any other way.
You're welcome.
I had
I'm
fun
playing
talking with you
modern
guys
right
this
now.
evening. Have a good night.
You too. Have a great one.
Good night. Good night.
Later.
Doesn't matter if you're playing modern.
Oh yeah, didn't
Did
a
you
modern
win?
guy actually make top 8 in the tournament before? A couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's been modern players in top 8 in Street Fighter 6. Yeah.
you're in a bit of a different headspace.
Top 4 and top 6 at Evo.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Like,
certain characters in Street Fighter that are better on their modern.
Yeah,
Now-
I heard about that. They say some characters actually get better in modern mode.
I mean, like Zangief having a 1-button SPD.
That's wild.
That's actually
Your
crazy.
control style is definitely a part of the meta. There's no way now.
I was pressing you.
Like there are. It's
Sorry, Flux. I'm trying to do all the shit.
Oh, and
Oh,
then
you're good.
yeah, the frame data does change a bit on modern though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
if the frame data changes and you lose a lot of your moves, instead of having like all of your wide array of normals and command normals, you just have like a light
That was the
medium
wrong input.
situation. You know what I mean? Like it gets reduced down to you just have light punch, medium punch, light attack, medium attack, heavy attack. Is what I think it is. I'm pretty sure your face buttons are light attack, medium attack, heavy attack, special, and then
Yeah.
your are different supers. And like drive stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my gosh, I keep pressing the wrong button. Every time I do those weird rising uppercuts at long range, I'm trying to do a fucking heavy, and I'm just pressing the wrong
I
button.
come out the way and some of them shits like at the hair of my teeth like, ooh, go back.
But you have no variation on those attacks. You just have light, medium, or heavy attack. You don't have
Yeah.
like you had a back light attack or you know what I mean, stuff like that. Command normals. You don't get that type of stuff.
No, you get some
Well,
special
it varies
moves
from
though.
character to character. What
Yeah.
characters lose actually varies from character to character.
Luke is the poster boy for modern. I'm gonna say if you're
Yeah.
gonna play modern Luke. Honestly.
How modern impacts the character is actually different from character to character. It's not some kind of like blanket auto combo system. It is something you would have to practice. If you were playing serious, you would have to practice modern like separately.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because
You would-
it's just whole different tech that you gotta think about.
You wouldn't.
Because you have to use your assist combo buttons as
Yeah.
normal buttons as well. So you technically do still have 6 buttons. They're just assigned to different moves.
Yeah. There's execution to modern. It's just not in getting your special moves to come out.
Yeah, it's not doing double quarter circles and all that jazz.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting how they, like I said, it's not something that's like, oh, I'm on modern, that means I can win it all without labbing.
No, that's definitely not how it goes. You need to understand your character for sure.
Yeah. Like, even if you can already play your character on classic, if you were like, oh, I'm finna auto win and switch to modern, you would still have to go lab that separately.
I will tell you, Coach Z is the only reason why I'm even somewhat surviving in these games.
Coach Steve.
Slayer is the man.
Oh yeah, my boy Slayer. Yeah. Cool.
Me and him have done a couple different sets where he's just taught me the mindset of modern playing and what I really need to be looking for. Because like one button DPs and stuff like that is something crazy to think about. Now you just have to train your body to react and use the DP.
I mean, it just lowers reaction time and stuff like that. Yeah. If you have it as a reaction to push those buttons to those events. You know what I mean? Ooh. It's a different situation if a character has a good level 1 invincible super and it's 1 button versus 6.
Alright, let you get out of that shit. Nice. I need to react to that jump more.
But it's weird. Like that, you might think like, oh, I got all these 1 button specials, but a lot of characters become like easier to play footsies against because they lost certain moves that were really good.
I still have some pretty good poking tools. Like my assisted medium is like that crouching medium.
Luke is probably the best modern character in the game. Luke is probably the character where his modern half and is as good as his classic half.
You gotta land at some point.
Most of the classic characters are better than their modern counterpart, with certain exceptions.
My toes! I chased the shit out that fireball to get your feet on the blocks done.
Chun-Li is one that I've actually seen as a coin toss.
Modern Chun-Li's alright. I'd rather probably play it, because I played Street Fighter V a little bit to like, when I heard Street Fighter 6 was coming out. So Chun-Li was who I picked up in Street Fighter V, along with no, not Juri. Who's the ninja? Ibuki. Which I'm mad at Ibuki's not in here.
Placing, doesn't it?
What's up?
Doesn't Modern Chun have the highest, like, major tournament placing?
Oh, maybe. I think so.
Because it was 6th at Evo, and it was a Modern Chun. There were no classics up there.
Ah!
That's another thing is with modern, like sure it's a part of the meta, but like everybody who's already good at Street Fighter doesn't need it. So
some of what it is in Chun-Li's case is Chun-Li is actually pretty hard. Good character, but she's actually pretty hard.
Oh!
So the difference in being able
I extended my hitbox out. It would have been better if I just did nothing.
Being able to do some of the Chun-Li things with none of the execution barrier is really, really nice.
Yes.
Because Chun-Li is low-key a sleeper. She's just super hard before she's a sleeper.
Yeah.
You gotta have your stance cancels and your air juggles and shit down packed from loose touches and all kind of shit.
Ah. Nice.
She's a hard character before she's good, unless you're already good, like Jayla.
Yeah.
I just hit confirm.
But you know fighting game fundamentals, so half of the stuff I'm talking about, you know to do instinctively.
Hit confirm, and then I'm gonna do as much as I BMP and be done with it.
And that's the problem. There's a whole journey you just have to go through in playing fighting games where you.
An error has occurred.
Like, I know you even arrive at my
MK2 is most likely going to be a 1v1 game. Because this is only supposed to... Yeah, this is just Injustice 3 with Mortal Kombat skins on it. This is supposed to be Injustice 3.
I don't think the assists work the way they want them to.
You will not talk about my Injustice 3. That is not Injustice 3. Injustice 3 features Blue Beetle.
I think the assists are supposed to... They were supposed to be like a gateway into freedom. But so many.
That tag shit was supposed to be by IJ.
But so many of the characters have a best assist to a degree where, like, the characters themselves are not complete characters.
Yep.
Most of them require an assist to become a complete character. So that Johnny Cage shit I was talking about is very special. Most of the characters have, like, all their strings are unsafe and shit like that, and they need their assist to fill the gaps.
Sub-Zero Omni-Man.
Shall we
Johnny
go
Cage
MK1?
can just whoop your ass.
Am I going to Power?
Johnny Cage just beat your ass. Yeah.
And he also has a teammate.
I need a break from Street Fighter. This has been fun. I'm surprised.
MK. Am I doing Power Word or are we doing MK?
Okay, so this is what I want to. This is what I want to say to
You
Flux.
play MK, you can play.
No. With Flux, I'm gonna just give you a small thing. I want you to learn how to do. We're gonna do it step at a time. I want you to neutral in the. I want you to to learn the extent of your pokes in the neutral. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, your second step. I want you to learn how to use that poke to go into super. We're gonna learn Street Fighter the old school way. We're gonna teach you. One thing you can do is your crouching light into super.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Because I had to realize that, like, look, there's some things that I know, even though I don't do them, that are doable. And, like, once you can do all of them, you start piecing together Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, the training mode in this game doesn't really teach you Street Fighter. It tries to just throw you in there and teach you the character. And that kind of confuses you.
No training mode teach you the game. At best, they teach you the character.
Yeah.
Fame, tell them to add me. I'm on. Or send me an invite.
You have to experience the meta to understand the game.
You got Blue Jay on here? She said send her an invite on MK1. She'll play you. Blue Jay?
But yeah. But you're gonna learn. You want to learn the extent of your.
Mortal Kombat.
I'm on your. I get why. I get it. You and your roommate uninstalled MK for an obvious reason. Obvious reasons. One of them is there's not enough players around sometimes.
Oh, Ryan just can't play. Once he gets his PlayStation back, I'm sure he'll get back on MK. Honestly.
Oh, get back to being that Omni-Man in ranked.
Yeah. That ranked Omni-Man is a menace.
Mm-hmm.
Ranked Omni-Man.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off. Y'all take it easy.